Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Pro Singer Success Collective live today. You asked for it, a training on reducing tension when you sing. And this is so important because so many singers that I know suffer from tension, suffer from not just feeling tension in like this part of the throat, but also in other parts of your body that really get in the way of what needs to happen when you sing. Could be jaw tension, could be tongue tension, could be in your ribs and in your torso. So today we are talking about how to get rid of tension when you sing. Okay, let me just make sure that I can see and hear any comments that might be coming in because I don't want to miss those. And let's rock and roll. Okay, so the part of the reason why I have a special soft spot in my heart for those of you who deal with a lot of tension when you sing is because so did I. I used to, when I was a young singer coming up, oh my God, it used to drive me absolutely crazy when my teachers would point out tension in various parts of my body when I sang. And I, absolutely was feeling what was going on, and they would say, go to yoga or go to acupuncture or get a massage, all of which, by the way, I would do. And I would feel great and then come back to singing and the tension would be right back where it started, the same tension all over again. And it used to frustrate me to no end. And for me, where I used to carry a lot of tension was in my jaw, which I think is pretty common for singers: jaw tension, tongue tension, also neck tension. And the thing is, I would get so frustrated when they would say this because I knew that the tension was preventing me from my most powerful sound, but nothing that I had tried had much effect on it. And so over the years, I've discovered, well, the major thing that reduces tension, which is integrating mind and body. But that is a deep process. That is that's not something that you can just like snap your fingers and get relief from right away. That is what annihilates the tension for good. However, there are 3 exercises that I've learned over the years that really help to reduce the tension in the absence of being able to, go through that transformational process to annihilate it and really help you to be able to connect to a much more free mechanism in singing. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Because tension really is the enemy of the singer. Anybody know why? I mean, other than the fact that it doesn't feel good. If you're watching, because I see those of you who are watching, hey, everybody, why ultimately is tension the enemy of the singer, other than the fact that it sucks in the sense that it doesn't feel good? Any ideas? Why do you think? Especially those of you who experience it. Okay. I'm just going to be that teacher who like gives you the answer today. Tension is the enemy of the singer because it blocks the free flow of energy in your body. Really get that, okay? Tension blocks the free flow of energy and breath and sound throughout the body. And one very important concept for you to remember is that your body is your instrument, your whole body, not just your vocal cords. So anything that negatively affects or negatively impacts the open flow of energy and sound through your body is going to negatively affect the quality of your singing and the sound that you make and your ability to impact in your performances. So chief among these things that negatively impacts the free flow of energy and sound is physical tension. So curious, how many of you experience a tension, not attention, a tension in your body when you sing? Put it into the chat because I want to get a little poll going here. And the places that you might experience it is in your neck, in your throat, could be in your jaw, could be in your tongue, could be in your torso. So hit me in the chat right now. Where do you experience tension in your body when you sing? Tell me. Like I was saying before, for me, it was a lot my jaw. And the jaw really is here, right? It's this. Your jaw is the hinge here, but you may feel it in the form of like your scalenes. So sometimes jaw tension can mask as neck tension, because when you clench this, all of these muscles get involved. Okay. So tell me in the chat, where are you experiencing? Marie, I see you're there. You lose connection with your breath. Yeah. So where do you experience the tension? And Jose Luis, I see you in the chat. Where do you experience it? Are you present to that in your body, to actually where it shows up? Because that's like the very first thing that we need to identify before we can annihilate it, is to get present to actually where we're experiencing it. Because sometimes it's so autopilot that we know it doesn't feel good. We know we're tense, but it just feels like tense all over. And it's really hard to identify what part of the body is actually tensing, right? So first and foremost, see if you guys can get really present to where you feel that. Jennifer is talking about in the throat and in the neck. Yeah. And so when a new singer comes to me, for example, to work with me, one of the very first things that I do to help them is to become aware of these physical tensions that have been getting in the way of their most efficient production of sound. And you guys have heard me say this before. Mother Nature gave humans an incredibly efficient mechanism for producing sound, but most singers do not trust it. And so instead, they develop all kinds of habits which they believe help to control this sound in the absence of their own essential trust in it. But that effort to control the sound really just creates all sorts of tensions that negatively impact the sound that they're trying to improve. So let's go through the three most common tensions that I see in singers and some exercises to help address them. And, when you guys are experiencing things like Jose is putting in the chat, it's hard to go into head register, or Wilbert talking about breath. This is not the problem. These are the symptoms. The problem is all of the tension that is actually getting in the way and creating difficulty in high register, difficulty with breath, and things like that. So let's go through the top three tensions, or most common tensions that I see in singers. So first was the one that I have dealt with in the past, which is jaw tension. So if you have trouble with your high notes, with your higher registers, one of the culprits may be that you are trying to grab and control these notes with your jaw. And so if the jaw is not free, then your ability to stretch your soft palate is dramatically compromised. So you guys, soft palate stretch is necessary to access your upper registers successfully. And so the more locked and controlling your jaw is, the less you can expand your soft palate for those higher notes, because the muscles that connect in and around your jaw and inside of your jaw are the muscles that connect internally to the soft palate. So if your jaw is tensing and controlling and grabbing, it locks those soft palate tissues and muscles in place, and you can't expand for the resonance space that you need in that soft palate if your jaw is keeping everything locked. Okay. So to that end, we want to have a really free and really fluid jaw while singing. So an exercise to help you to start to free your jaw is, first, I want you to find a really gentle, easy smile. Just an easy smile. And then you're going to let your jaw hang. It's what I call the clueless smile, is the dumb smile. It's like, if, you guys remember the movie Clueless from the 90s with Alicia Silverstone? She's like, oh my God. Oh my God. If you're under 35, you may not remember this, or maybe you will. I don't know. But is the dumb smile. So you're going to smile, and then you're just going to let your jaw hang. Okay. Now, remember, when we talk about the jaw, we're really just talking about these two hinges on either side, right in front of your ears. Okay. Don't make the mistake that this is your jaw. This is not your jaw. This is your chin. Okay. So your jaw, when I talk about letting the jaw hang, I'm thinking about these hinges just hanging. So find your smile and let your jaw hang. Now, From that easy smile, and I'll show you in a second, you're going to allow the jaw hinges to soften and open. And the feeling is one of jaw kind of hanging down and back. Do not hold your jaw down in this position. Okay, don't do that. It should feel free and soft and like it's just swinging down and back. Okay. And you're going to keep the energy of this easy smile by feeling your ears widening away from each other. All right. Now, you're going to alternate by within this shape that you've created of this easy dumb smile with the hanging dumb jaw, alternate between chanting ya, 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 and la, 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 la. Okay. So you're allowing your jaw to hang and you're just moving your tongue without it making your jaw move. You want the tongue to be doing the work to change the vowels and the consonants, not the jaw. So if you're doing it right, it will be like this. Ya, 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 la, 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 ya, 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 la, 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 ya, 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 la, la, la. If you're not doing it right, it will look like this. Ya, 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 la, 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 ya, 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 la, la. Okay? No, we need the tongue to be able to move independently of the jaw. Okay? And I see there's some questions in the chat, and I'll get to these afterwards. Okay? I know that I did see them. So, if you find your jaw locking, yeah, 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 la, 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 locking, or closing and moving up and down, yeah, 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 la, 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 in tandem with your tongue, as you change the consonants, then reset. Close your mouth. Just allow yourself to swallow. Take a breath a nose breath into your smile. Feel your ears widening away from each other. Then soften your jaw and drop your jaw and resume. Yeah, 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 la, 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 yeah, yeah, la, la, yeah, 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 la, la, la. Back and forth, just the tongue, okay? Doing this exercise in front of a mirror can be extremely helpful because most of you are probably way overusing your jaw and you're so used to that sensation that you don't even realize that your jaw is flapping up and down, trying to control and moving with the tongue every single time. So watch yourself in the mirror and start to create some trust. And I'm not even singing here. We're just chanting. Yeah, 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 la, 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 yeah, 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 la, la, la. Start to create some trust that you don't need your jaw to make sound, that you don't need your jaw to create consonants, that you can do, your tongue can do the consonants and vowels by itself without your jaw. And then the next step is to start playing around with different pitches, just chanting on different pitches. So breathe into your smile. Let your jaw hang. Yeah, 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 la, 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 yeah, 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 la, la, yeah, 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 la, 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 yeah, 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 la, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I'm like moving around. Jaw soft. The purpose of this, you guys, is not to hold your jaw in place. The purpose of this is soft. The jaw gets to be soft and tongue can move. When jaw is soft, now we're allowing that soft palate can begin to stretch when you learn how to do that. But learning how to stretch soft palate, if jaw is all up in the way, it's the cart before the horse. Okay. So soft jaw. Okay. All right. The second most common tension is, anybody know? Who thinks they know what it is? Jaw is the most common. Second, did anybody type into the chat? Let's see. What do you think? What do you guys think it is? Jaw's number one most common. Number two most common is neck tension. Devin, pelvic floor. Pelvic floor is not well, you might hold tension in your pelvic floor, Devin. We don't want to. We want to, bear down in the other direction, as you know. But good guess. So, Jose, not tongue. Second most common tension is neck tension. Neck tension. Otherwise, throat tension. Same, because it all constricts around the inside of your larynx. Okay. So neck tension is evidenced pretty clearly when the veins in a singer's neck pop out as they are singing. And I'm sure you've seen this happen. It may have even happened to you. So usually a key indicator that a singer does not have a good handle on their breath support is neck tension. Because when a singer cannot rely on the solidity and the consistency of their lower breath support. They instead try to control the air and the vibration with the muscles in their neck, which creates an enormous amount of tension in that area. So if you are experiencing neck tension, that is an absolute tell and red flag that you need to do some work on your breath support, because this is trying to support your sound in the absence of the breath support that should be doing it. And this kind of tension in your neck and in your throat, it negatively affects your resonance because it puts a giant squeeze around your larynx. And so singers with a lot of neck tension also often suffer in their higher register, because as the pitch rises, so does the amount that those neck muscles want to tense to try to push that sound up. And they do this because the singer hasn't learned how to correctly engage their lower support to manage the rise in pitch effectively. Now, this can be true of other tensions as well. Jaw trying to take over in the absence of support, tongue trying to take over in the absence of support, but we notice it most commonly in the neck. And it can be a vicious cycle, because as long as the neck muscles are engaged in trying to support the sound, because the lower support is not doing what it needs to do, the problem is then the lower support never takes over to do the job, because body's like, oh, cool, neck has got it. And then that's like, peace out. So it just creates this negative feedback loop. So the problem is that your subconscious is not going to let those neck muscles release if it intrinsically doesn't trust the lower support to take over the supporting, the doing of that support. And then therein lies the rub, because if those muscles never take over, then this is going to continue to grab. But as long as this continues to grab, that's never going to take over. And so you just have this vicious cycle. So I've got one really helpful little hack to help break this cycle. It's something I do with singers in my program all the time. It's very simple and designed to help your subconscious mind begin to trust that you do not need your neck muscles to support your sound, that you do not need your neck to be able to control the sound. So what you're going to do is, and it doesn't matter what you're singing, you can do this on any song, on any exercise. You're going to start by squaring your shoulders, and you're going to gently turn your head from side to side. And very slow, very smooth, consistent motion. I don't want you doing this too fast, okay? Slow and consistent, gentle from side to side, okay? Once you feel comfortable with the movement, then you're going to begin to sing. In this case, I think it would be great to start on just something really simple and begin to sing like a simple descending 5-note scale on a ma or a mi, whatever vowel you find straightforward and simple, while continuing to turn your head from side to side. So it's going to be like this. Ma. And then you're going to go up a key like you would if you were warming up. Ma. Ma. And you're going to do it all the way up to the top of your range. If you're, a girl, go up through your passaggio, go into head voice. Okay, notice how I am continually moving and I do not stop at any point. Now, while you do this, if you're doing it for the first time, either video yourself or have someone watch you to make sure that when you do it, when you sing, that you're not locking your head and your neck and your torso together and turning them as a unit, because this is what can happen. You start doing this, and then you go, ma. Now everything is moving, and because neck is locked. And so now you're like moving the whole thing as a unit. So make sure, either video yourself or have someone watch you to make sure that this is square and that you're only moving your head, okay? Because if the neck is soft and free, the head can turn independently of the body. Also, have somebody watch you to let you know if you get stuck, and stop turning your head at any point in the phrase, as the phrase begins, at a certain point in the phrase, okay? Because that tells you that in that moment that you started to lock, the lower support stopped doing what it needs to be doing. Okay. So the reason we're doing this, you guys, is because it is impossible to tense or lock your neck if you're continuously turning your head from side to side. And so in doing this exercise, what you're doing is you're taking away the security blanket of what's been supporting your sound in the absence of what really should be supporting your sound. Okay. And you will see where you are with your lower support. Okay. So if this is happening to you, so you should always start moving before you do the exercise. If this is happening to you, did you notice how I like stopped to start the phrase and this started to get, this is what grabbed, because in that moment, my lower support didn't do it. So this is now trying to support the sound, which means that I'm grabbing, which means I'm not turning. So have somebody watch you or video yourself to see in which moments you're stopping and locking, because neck tension is 99.9% of the time a function of lack of trust in the lower support. So this will show you when you're not trusting it, because you will lock and you will stop moving. And that's the moment to then look, oh, okay, let me see what's going on with my support. Let me be really present to moving through my support and being consistent there. And when you do that, then you'll be able to continue to move and this won't lock. Okay. So it's going to force you to go farther to engage that lower support because your neck is no longer able to engage if you're moving. Okay. And once you feel that lower support kicking in and your subconscious realizes that you can make a good sound without using the neck to control it, that you can move and be up and down through your range, right? So you're going to start with the and you're going to get that to the place where it's super consistent, where you can move through up and down your range without locking and have the ability to continuously move your neck. And then you can do it on any piece of repertoire, right? I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night. Like really get into the habit of letting go of your security blanket and turning the support over to where it really belongs. And so you'll realize in a moment that you do start to lock up here, and then you come back to the support and you give yourself more consistency so that you can let this go. All of a sudden you build trust. Over time, you will build trust that the neck can let go, even when you're not turning your head, and a good sound will still come out because you've trained your body to what's actually needed in that moment when you get rid of the security blanket. Okay. So that's my little hack. And we do this all the time with singers who are in the program. Some of you may be watching right now. You can attest to this, but it's a great little litmus test for your support. And once the support kicks in and the consistency it needs to, then this is able to move freely. Okay. So now let's talk about the third most common, wait, hold on. My screen went weird. Okay. Sorry. There we are. The third most common tension, which some of you have typed in the chat, which is tongue tension. Tongue tension. Some of you may have already known that this is a thing. Others of you may be like, wait, your tongue can be tense? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's the most subconscious one. It's the one that we don't realize until somebody points it out and we start to notice what it feels like. Because oftentimes, those of us with tongue tension, it's not just going on when you sing. It's also happens a lot of times when you don't even realize it. So for example, if you check in with yourself in a moment of just mindless nothing, like you're doing the dishes or you're standing in line at the grocery store and your tongue is sucked up onto the roof of your mouth, like you may not even realize you're doing that. And so tongue is like tense. Others of you, it happens when you talk and so what tongue tension is, the tongue is like a really long, thick muscle, and it goes all the way down and hooks in right above your larynx. And when a tongue is tense, let me rewind that. When a tongue is not tense, just normal resting tongue, it's wide, it's soft and wide, just between your bottom molars and your front of your mouth. It just rests soft and wide. When a tongue is tense, it narrows and contracts and pulls back down your throat. It's the action of swallowing, but when you're not swallowing. And so you're putting tension on the larynx, because when that tongue contracts and pulls back and in, and grabs, it pushes down on your larynx. So a typical sound that you might hear when somebody has a lot of tongue tension is what I call the Kermit the Frog sound. So you guys know Kermit the Frog here. Hi ho. I'm making that sound because I am pulling my tongue back and constricting it and pushing it back down my throat to get that sound. It's the Kermit sound. Okay? Anybody who listens to Shakira, that woman sings with a ton of tongue tension. My hips don't lie. I mean, it's for me personally, I don't know how she does it because it's very uncomfortable. So, tongue tension, okay? And in my experience, tongue tension most often results from when a singer is wanting to change the timbre of their sound to make it sound stronger, more powerful, richer, deeper, better inside their head. That's the most common reason that singers get into tongue tension. When they're doing that, it may sound great to them inside their head, bigger, powerful, more richer, stronger, but it ends up out here to us, to the audience, sounding covered, pressed, darkened, overly manipulated, inauthentic, and can go all the way to Kermit if it's not addressed. And so Jose Luis is asking about what about covering the sound. And so me personally, like there's so many not definitions, but like when somebody says to cover the sound, there's a lot of different things that they might mean. And for me in my training and how, what I know about covering the sound, it has a negative connotation. It may not to you, I don't know. But what covering the sound traditionally means is manipulating your tongue, your soft palate, and your jaw to create an artificially rounder, darker, richer tone than is your natural tone. So if I'm going to cover my sound, I was like, and I don't have that kind of timbre. And so if I don't, but I feel like my singing is less than because I don't have that richer, darker timbre, because that's just not my voice, then I will manipulate with my tongue to create that sound. And it's really detrimental because it puts a ton of pressure on the larynx. Because when singers are doing that, it manifests the tongue muscle, like I was saying, contracting and bearing down on the larynx and putting a ton of undue pressure on the vocal folds as they attempt to vibrate freely. And this can just be really damaging to the vocal folds over time and lead to vocal injury, nodes, vocal hemorrhage, because it's just an absolute ton of pressure on the cords that is not natural to them and we don't want. So that's another conversation, which is accepting the sound that is your sound. Not all voices are built to do all things. I do not have a rich sound. I'm a bright, high, sparkling soprano. And that's okay. That's my special sauce. Somebody else's special sauce might be low and rich and deep and dark, like I don't sound like, what's her name? Nina Simone. And I never will. But if I feel like I need to sound like that to be successful, then I will manipulate with my tongue to create that sound, but it's not authentic to my voice and it risks a ton of vocal damage to do it. So tongue tension is something we need to watch out for. So here's an exercise that I like for identifying if you have tongue tension and being very helpful to shift it. So make a thumbs up gesture with your hand. And then you're going to gently place your thumb under your jaw, right in the soft tissue area behind your chin. So you can feel it. It's right in here. And you can kind of go like this and feel behind. And if you press up with your thumb, you'll feel the muscles that are the root and the base of your tongue. And if you swallow, you can feel the tongue engage and release, because the tongue's job is to help move the food back and down. And so it activates to do that. So you'll feel those tongue muscles press into your thumb if you swallow. Now, people with tongue tension are it's almost like they're effectively trying to swallow and sing at the same time, because they're engaging those muscles in the same way. And it's like, doesn't feel good and it doesn't sound good. Okay. So if you press your thumb up, you'll feel the base, the root of your tongue. And so now I want you to just rest your thumb there and give it just a little bit, just push in just a little bit on it, on your tongue there. And just allow, and sometimes it helps for me to close my eyes to do this, just allow the tongue muscle to release and melt down around your thumb. Just like it's just melting around your thumb. Yep. And now you're going to do a simple descending 5-note scale. Same thing we did when we were turning our head, from this released place. Ma. And do it again in your head voice. Ma. And if you sing with a lot of tongue tension, you will feel your tongue engaging, contracting, hardening, and bearing down on where your thumb is. So use your thumb as a reminder that you can soften your tongue around your finger as you vibrate down the scale. And you may feel a little vibrating around your thumb. It's not always completely still over there, down here, but you should not feel any hardness or bearing down while you're phonating, while you're singing. And so if you're practicing this, if you notice you have a lot of bearing down and tension, do it again. And again, it could be helpful to close your eyes. Visualize as you sing that your tongue is just melting and spreading around your finger. Now, when you do that, when you really let the tongue go, you might realize that it cracks, or no sound comes out, or it's completely pitchy, or it's completely airy. It might feel less resonant, less powerful to you. And that's okay, because what it's showing you is the absence of support. That when you let this tongue go, nothing else is coming in to support that sound. So again, pay attention to what you notice in the lower body. Do it again. Really melt your tongue, and now be very present to engaging your support. The way to find a more resonant sound, a richer sound, is by strengthening your lower support and the energy and stretch as well of the soft palate, so that you don't need to manipulate your tongue to try to control that sound. So being able to engage the lower support and the stretch of the soft palate, those things are what are going to enable you to have a more powerful resonant sound without the need to bear down on the tongue. So this is like your little meter being able to show you, are you in the habit? And if you feel the tongue starting to engage, just jiggle your finger right under ever so slightly. Give the tongue a little bit of a reminder. Oh yeah, great. You don't need to engage. You can chill. Okay. So when it comes to tension, guys, the bottom line really is that singing should feel good if you're doing it right. And if something hurts, feels overworked, stressed, tense in your mechanism, especially while singing and after singing, if you get easily vocally fatigued, that's your body telling you that you're not doing something right in the most effective way. So listen to your body. Start to become aware of these tensions. Work to undo them, and then build back your support and your resonance from a much more efficient and healthy place. Now, I fully recognize that it's all very well and good for me to give you these exercises to help you reduce tension when you sing. But the truth is, like I was saying before, any tension you experience while you're singing is there for a reason. Okay. It's, oh, my sound isn't rich enough. My sound isn't powerful enough. I don't trust my support, so I need to manage it here. There's a reason the tension is there. And these exercises they're a good entry point to start to understand and undo these things. But it's also a little bit like a Band-Aid on a mosquito bite. It makes you feel better in the moment and can be helpful, but it doesn't actually solve or address the real problem. And so if you have a lot of tension when you sing, the real problem is that your body is responding to a thought that is creating tension as a reaction to that thought in your body. And that's why we do so much work on mind-body connection and mindset with the singers who I work with in our program, because your body can't do what your brain is sabotaging. And so if you really want to get rid of tension when you sing for good, then what you've got to do is you've got to do the work of addressing and transforming the piece that's not the physical piece, but the mental piece, the thinking that's been creating the tension in the first place. Why do you think you need to be more powerful, be richer? Why are you stuck in the not enough thinking that's causing you to manipulate and create this tension? Why is that sound not good enough? What are the things, the limiting beliefs, the old stories you've been attaching to, the traumas? Yes, my friend. And they may not be traumas that you would expect, but things, that you were told or that you bought into or that you were made fun of, why are you in the not enough place in your mind? Yeah. Like, these are the things that create the tension, because you're trying to prove, or you care so much. And so your body's going to overwork, right? And so technique in the absence of mindset is worthless, because your thinking will continue to sabotage your body in the form of all these tensions that are reacting to your thoughts, no matter how much good technique that you have. I could give a singer the best technique in the world and it won't matter if her mind continues to sabotage her body from using it in ways that she probably isn't even present to. So you need both. You need technique and you need mindset. You need skill set and you need your psychology to both be working for you. And well, that's why we train singers differently, right? Because it's very cutting edge. It's very different way to train, but it addresses the real work that eliminates tension when you sing. Not to mention that it just makes your sound and your performances much more impactful, because you've learned how to get out of your own way and actually align with the sound that is your most powerful, that is your special sauce. So if you're a serious singer who needs help doing this so that you can win auditions, release records that people actually listen to, build the kind of confidence and foundation so that when you perform on big stages, you can bring it no matter what, and not do it in a way that makes you vocally tired or straining, or a way that might sound okay out there, but really, is unsustainable in here. Like, these are all the things, right, that are important if you're going to be able to get on big stages and get the big opportunities that you really want with your singing and get those breakthroughs to do that. Then if that's what you need, you guys, we're doing another free training coming up next week. So it's our next 5-day free training, Vocal Powerhouse Accelerator Be Bulletproof Edition. So what does it mean to be a bulletproof singer? How do we become bulletproof? How do we tap into our technique, our mindset, our talent, our skill set to be able to bring it anytime, no matter who's listening, no matter how many people are there, no matter what the stakes are, whether it's alone in your shower or in front of 30,000 people, whether it's the biggest audition of your life or singing at your church, either way, okay? Being able to be bulletproof means that that you can deliver no matter what. So that's the focus of this free training coming up. Starts Monday, 29th, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, an hour a day, Monday through Friday. Here's the link to register. I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys. You may have already gotten an email about it. You may have already seen it in a post, but if you haven't registered, do it, because it's the thing when it comes to being able to understand how to link mind and body that gets you bulletproof. And so we're going to be doing hands-on live training. If you've already joined us for one, you're welcome to come again. We're going to dive into the idea of bulletproof. If you've not joined us, come. It is like the best hour a day for a week that you will spend on your singing, because it's live, it's interactive, it's hands-on, and it's cutting edge, which means that my plan is to give you tips and tools that you don't get through other training, because they don't know this stuff. And listen, I was trained the same way. I had to figure all this stuff out. So I want to give this to you so you understand what it's like to train this way, and be able to get some really great foundations going for your technique, for your mindset, for your skill set. So if you're watching on YouTube, the link to register is in the description, the video description. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? I'm happy to stay for like 5 more minutes and answer questions. Let me go back in the chat and see if there's any questions that I missed. Is this what, oh, Marie's asking, why it sounds like I have less volume when you're higher in your register? Yeah, it's probably because of tension, because in that moment, it's a scary part of your range for you. And so you tense up, which means that the rest of your support is like, oh, peace out. Like, okay, the jaw is taken over, the neck is taken over, the tongue is taken over. Cool. So support just like takes off because it thinks that, oh, okay, this is doing it. But really, it's stopping you. So it could be a huge reason why you don't have as much power when you're up in that part of your register. Let me just see if there was any other questions that I missed before we pop off. Yeah, I think we got it. But by the way, guys, if you're watching in the replay and you have a question, put it in the chat, because I'll pop in and I'll answer. So don't think if you're watching in the replay that you can't ask questions, because I absolutely want you to, and I'll make sure that I give you some support. Okay, everybody. So come to the workshop. Register. If you can't attend live, that's okay. If you're registered, you will get the links to watch the replays each day. So don't let that be the thing that stops you. And I will see everybody in there. Okay, guys, have a great week. Bye.